So me, 26 male, and my boyfriend, 25 male, have been together for a bit over 2 years. Our relationship has been great, happy, and healthy one. We recently decided to move in together a few months back, and everything has been going great. However, a few days ago he brought up the idea of donating S to his ex, which at first I thought he was joking, but then realized it was something he actually was considering. I must admit, I got a little mad and immediately told him not to do it, and how crazy of an idea that was. So, to give you guys some background, my boyfriend came to terms with his orientation a year before we started dating. Prior to our relationship, he dated his most recent ex for a few years. They broke up when he came out to her, but ended in very good terms, and she has been very supporting of him. Now, here's where it gets tricky. They had a baby. From what they've told me, sometime after they broke up, she found out she was a month pregnant. Back to present day, he has a beautiful 3-year-old boy, who I've grown to love as well. I get to see him when my boyfriend visits him. While it wasn't my ideal situation, it's been amazing seeing how great of a father he is as well, and his ex-girlfriend, baby's mother, has been really nice and kind to me as well. So I don't have any bad thoughts or wishes to her in any way. She truly is very lovely. However, my boyfriend told me lately she has been talking a lot about wanting their kid to have a sibling, and how she wouldn't want them to be too many years apart. So somehow she has been convincing him on donating her S so she can have another baby. She has been trying to convince him on the idea that it would be better if they are full siblings instead of being half siblings, so that's why she would like to have his S specifically. I've even heard comments from his mother and his ex's family encouraging the idea. The worst part is, I see him contemplating the idea. I know he would like to have more children, but I think that would be a conversation for me and him to discuss and decide by ourselves, as I am his current partner. While I know we can't have a child by ourselves, and it will be harder for us to have a child if we ever decide to in the future, there are multiple options we can consider a few years later when we feel the time is right. Anyways, since I've told him not to do it, I think she might have said the same to his ex-girlfriend. And since I haven't heard anything from her, the last time he went to visit his kid, he told me her ex wanted him to go alone. So I believe she won't want me to be able to see the kid. And the last time I saw her, she didn't even say hi or anything. I think she might be mad with me that I'm against the idea she is proposing. I've also noticed that my boyfriend has been somewhat absent-minded, and I'm afraid this should be something I shouldn't be getting involved with, even though I don't like the idea. No a-holes, but you are certainly entitled to feel unsupportive of your partner deciding to make a baby and pay child support for 2 kids instead of just the one he already has. No a-hole. I think everyone's point is valid. She wants another kid that looks like and acts like her current kid. She also knows the medical history of the future kid. He, your boyfriend, wants kids. I think he's going to be disappointed with his future relationship with the future kid. He won't have legal parent rights if you donate it like he should. You don't want your current man giving his seed to someone else, which creates a stronger bond with his ex. Not the a-hole, and I do not understand why people are so sympathetic for the ex. You don't ask your ex, who is in a new relationship, to give you another baby. You also don't talk with your ex about having another baby while being in a relationship. So both your boyfriend and his ex have some audacity from my point of view. Me, 35, and my husband, 38, lived together for 3 years before getting married last year. He had a daughter, now 16, with his girlfriend, at that time, 37. For a time, they tried to make it work, but it didn't. My relationship with his ex and his daughter was friendly. We take his daughter to family trips, and she is close to my nieces. The ex is in Dubai and communicates with us via social media. Here's where it gets complicated. His ex's father died last year, and they, ex and her mom, requested that my husband assist them for a while. It was not an issue for me as I understand the difficulty when going through loss, and my husband's assistance is a great help. But as time went on, it seemed like my husband has become the replacement of their dead father. They call early in the morning for chores, or late at night to fetch the ex's mom and many other chores. I told my husband that I'm starting to get uncomfortable, as he can't even have the time to take the laundry from the laundry shop because they take a large chunk of his time, even to the point of affecting his job. This week, my husband was informed that his grandma's health is deteriorating and is now on oxygen. He told me that he has to go to the next city to see his grandma because it seemed like her time is short. He will be taking his daughter with him, using the ex's family car. He assured that I won't be coming as I have work the next day. I felt bad because I wanted to go because I want to meet his grandma and didn't have the chance because of the virus. I asked if we could postpone the travel to the next day instead, as I have no work by then and can go with them, but he was adamant that they have to go the next day. A few minutes later, his ex messaged me about details of the trip and her niece is coming with them on the trip too. I realized that they discussed the matter prior to informing me, and they made the decision together. I told him that I am hurt, as he's made a decision to see his family with his ex's family and did not include me in the process. He went ballistic and threatened not to go on the trip and made me feel bad that he won't be able to see his grandma on her deathbed. I literally begged him to go on the trip, as I cannot bear it in my conscience if she dies and he wasn't able to see her. I was crying the whole day as I felt rejected and unimportant. When he came back home, I wanted to discuss the matter with him, but he got upset and I ended up crying. He accused me that I am so selfish for trying to sabotage his trip to his grandmother. I articulated that his visiting his grandmother is never the issue, but the fact that he and his ex's family decided together on a matter about his family that I assumed I am a part of, and was never considered in the equation. He just ended up angry and me crying. Am I the a-hole for being hurt? Am I overreacting? Is he right that I'm trying to sabotage their trip? Not the a-hole. Your husband is the jerk in this situation. Seriously, you need to set some boundaries with him and his ex's family because he is not respecting you at all in this marriage. Not the a-hole. He's gaslighting you. You are the wife, so you should have been included. The fact he took his ex instead of you, to me, is a red flag. Then proceed to gaslight you when you confronted him. Red flag. You are not the a-hole. Just reading your story makes me feel bad for your situation. I think it's probably hard already to have to deal with your husband's ex and be around them a lot. But then having them make plans without you is just a whole new level of hurtfulness and inconsiderate. I think your husband needs to stop this behavior and set some boundaries between him and his ex. My fiancé and I are about to get married. We're working out the guest list and what the seating arrangements would look like. We have a rough draft, but my fiancé's list is causing problems. I never thought I'd be someone that cared this much about weddings or have an argument that used these words, but this got me. My fiancé wants to invite her daughter's grandmother who lives overseas as her own mother has passed, and she was like a mother to her. She's already asked, and the grandmother can come. She just have to bring her daughter to help her. They've gotten everything worked out and bought tickets. Everyone is very excited to finally get to meet them, as it's been over 5 years since their last visit, including her other grandchildren, my wife's daughter's half-sisters. This is where the problem comes in. Due to how long the grandmother and aunt will be here, the only way the half-siblings could see them is if they attend the wedding. I really don't want that to happen. I realize that these are their relatives, and they haven't gotten to see either of them in over 5 years, but it would make things so much more complicated. If I invited them, we would also have to invite their mother, which means we would have an entire table devoted to, basically, my fiancé's ex's family, with the number of people we'd have. Even in the best-case scenario, it would destroy the entire idea of the wedding because my stepdaughter would only want to be with her sisters. We wouldn't be able to get her to come sit with us or even take pictures. We'd also be risking my fiancé's ex showing up to see his mother as well, something none of the kids would want. It would just be maximum drama and stress. My kids wouldn't understand what's even happening. I voiced this, and now everyone is angry with me. My wife is willing to bar them, but doesn't actually agree. All of these people now know, and we're hearing it from all sides. They're saying that we hate the girls, and that we're gatekeeping them from their own family. This isn't true. We just don't want to have the stress and drama and turn this into a family reunion for a completely different family when we're trying to celebrate forming our own. I'm getting calls and texts from everyone about it, and we're starting to question if we're in the wrong here and just need to suck it up because we're having this particular woman. Edit. They'll only be here for 3 days, so if they don't come to the wedding, they'll be in the area, but the grandmother will want to see them and not come to the wedding, and my stepdaughter will no longer want to go in favor of seeing the family as well. Not the a-hole. Your wedding, you decide who attends. If the ex's family wants a reunion, they should chip in to allow their grandmother to stay longer and have one day after your wedding. A wedding is not a family reunion and should not be treated as such. It's unfortunate that your fiancé's ex's grandmother cannot extend her trip to see her family, but it is not your fault if she can only stay for the festivities. No judgment here. You're the a-hole because you seem to think you need all 3 days of this woman's time in your area to be dedicated to your wedding rather than divided amongst her family so she can spend some time with everyone. I, 39 male, need to start by saying that I have a son, 20 male, from a previous relationship. His mother, 40 female, and I ended our relationship when he was 5 years old, but we agreed on shared custody since we live in the same city. Even after we broke up, we kept talking, only things involving our son. But then we got back to talking about each other and ended up becoming good friends. I've been married for 2 years to my wife, 35 female. Our relationship has its ups and downs, but we get our way and always improve. My son recently graduated in IT engineering. I'm very proud that he got his degree at such a young age. Currently, he lives with me, but stays with his mother when he goes to visit his girlfriend. Me and his mom agreed to buy him an apartment as a gift since he can't have a graduation party. But my wife didn't like the idea because an IT engineer earns enough to buy his own apartment. I didn't say nothing, and I will pay for half of the apartment. Returning to the subject of the post. Recently, my son said he wanted to break some big news, but he made it clear that he only wanted me and his mom. My ex's current husband wouldn't go either. According to him, it would just be me, her, and a few people. When the day arrived, I went to my ex's house and took her in my car, as hers was undergoing maintenance. When we arrived, there were my son, his girlfriend, and her family. They announced that they were getting married and that they were expecting a baby boy. I jumped with joy and pride in my son and his girlfriend. The girl is the sweetest person I've seen. She worked since she was 12 braiding hair to help her family, and now works in a comic book company as a cartoonist. She was a very hardworking person. I'm really happy for them. Later that day, my wife found out about the meeting and yelled at me, saying that I had excluded her from this experience and that I should have taken her even though she didn't get along very well with my son. I explained to her that I didn't know it would be such big news and that I thought it was something small and wouldn't make a difference. She said that I hurt her feelings and that she will only talk to me again if my son and I apologize for it. It's important to say that the main reason my son doesn't want my wife there is because, according to him, she makes comments about his girlfriend's appearance. Stuff like her hair. She always has braids, which are really nice by the way, and her makeup. Even without makeup, she is very pretty and has green eyes, which are very beautiful. I tried to explain that if she wanted to be invited, she should try to have a better relationship with my son. But she didn't listen and said that I made him be more attached to his mother than trying to give her a chance to be an important part of his life too. So, am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole, because your son specifically stated he only wanted you. But you are the a-hole for not putting a stop to your wife being an R. You gotta call her out on that, hard, and honestly consider ending things if she continues to make R comments. Not the a-hole. Your son specifically requested that it was just you and his mom and neither of your spouses. Your wife doesn't need to be involved in every single thing that has to do with your adult son, who she didn't raise. Not the a-hole at all. Your son only wanted bio parents there, and you respected that as a good dad. If you had taken her, your son would have been upset with you. Your wife is not a good person, especially if she's making R comments and demanding an apology she isn't owed for one. Kick this woman to the curb because she'll always try to force you to choose between you and your son. By the way, there is not a damn thing wrong with fostering your son having a good relationship with his mom. My family has the tradition that the father gives a small necklace to his daughter or daughters when they graduate from college or get married. My daughter, Joanna, has said numerous times that she does not wish to get married, so I've been saving to buy a small diamond necklace for her. Now, my wife and I have been married for 6 years now, and when we got married, her daughter, Sarah, was already 17 or 18 years old, and we never really bonded. We are civil, I appreciate her, but it's obvious that she's not my daughter, and I'm not her father in any shape or form, which is fine by me. When she graduated from college, I gave her a small silver necklace per tradition, and she liked it. It's another piece of jewelry in her collection. Now that my daughter is about to graduate, I want to give her something nice. She's my only kid, and we have an amazing relationship. She has also worked very hard ever since she turned 15, and she's honestly a very good kid. Kind, empathetic, intelligent, giving. She's my pride and joy. She has always loved things shaped like hearts, and I found a small necklace that has a piece of diamond like that, and I know she'll love it. I told my wife the other day and showed her a pic, but she didn't like it. She said it's not fair Sarah got a silver piece that looks nothing special, and my daughter gets a friggin' diamond. I stated my reasons, that Sarah and I are not close at all, while my daughter is the only child I have, but she said I'll be an a-hole if I do it, and I'm not so sure anymore. I thought it didn't matter since she's not giving anything to Joanna like I did to Sarah, and I don't expect her to, so I think I can do whatever I want, but I need some insight. Not the a-hole, unless your wife treats her daughter and yours exactly the same. She needs to shut the duck up. I also suggest you establish a trust for your daughter, so that if anything happens to you, her inheritance is protected. Not the a-hole. Never let your wife talk you out of doing something special for your daughter. Your wife isn't getting your daughter anything, even though you gave her daughter a gift. She's the a-hole here. Don't let this woman run your daughter out of your life. Not the a-hole. Your daughter deserves it. Just because you marry someone doesn't mean that kid is fully yours. Unless you raised her from a fetus, you have no moral obligation to shower her with presents.